Hello, welcome to our third Evesham Shares webinar series, what every business owner in Evesham Township should know. My name is Stacy Webb. I am the Deputy Director of Community Development for Evesham Township. It is my pleasure to welcome you this evening. I'd like to go over our agenda quickly. I will have Mayor Vesey say a welcoming word to us. And after she's done that, I will go over the guidelines for this information session. I will talk about our purpose and our mission. And then I'll go on to introduce our wonderful speakers. I will then come back and go over some next steps. So at this point, I will turn it over to Mayor Vesey.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us for our third Evesham Township webinar series, Evesham Shares. We're glad to have these great speakers with us this evening to share some information for what every Evesham business owner needs to know. I look forward to hearing all of this great information for our businesses, and I thank the members of the Evesham Economic Advisory Council as well as Stacy for advocating and putting together this webinar series. So thank you very much to our speaker, our guest speakers this evening. I hope that everyone learns some great information.
Thank you, Mayor Vesey. As I mentioned, I wanted to discuss some of the guidelines for this information session. This is an informative presentation. It will be recorded, and a copy of this presentation that I'm going over right now will be available on our Evesham Township website. Questions can be asked and answered using our chat function. We will turn that on when the last presenter has gone, and you will be able to type in your question, and I will ask it to the presenters. Any question that we are unable to get to in the time of this presentation, I will add to a frequently asked questions page of the presentation document. Each presenter, however, will provide their own contact information. So if it's something that you want to reach out to them directly on, you will have their information. Finally, any other questions that you want to ask that you're not sure where it should go, you can ask that directly to myself, Stacy Webb. I will have my contact information at the end of this presentation as well. The purpose for us having these monthly webinars is to provide the community of businesses in Evesham Township with consistent information that will help their business grow, help it develop, provide financial as well as non-financial assistance and guidance during these difficult times and then in the future. We have amazing speakers that have provided and prepared for us information that we will share on our social media posts as well as in our business section of our website. Our first speaker tonight is Donald Newman. Mr. Don Newman is the manager of the Office of Small Business Advocacy for the New Jersey Business Action Center. As the manager of the Small Business Advocacy, Don Newman's focus is on developing the business community's ability to leverage the resources available to them. And to give them the best chance they have to succeed. Additionally, he manages the helpline for the New Jersey Business Center. And the 1-800-JERSEY-7 is a new live chat. I've used it myself. I know it works, and I know he's always on it. He will provide information tonight regarding the New Jersey Business Action Center helping your business grow, the New Jersey Business Action Center connector to public and private resources, impact of the State Economic Recovery Act of 2020 and the Federal Stimulus Act, benefits of export, and opportunities of state and federal procurement to grow your business. And finally, of course, turning your words into action. Our second speaker is Mr. Robert Palumbo. He is the Regional Director of the Small Business Development Center serving Burlington, Camden, Gloucester, and Salem counties. As the Regional Director, the New Jersey Small Business Development Center Bob is recognized for making outstanding contributions in assisting entrepreneurs and small businesses by promoting greater opportunities for growth. The New Jersey Small Business Development Center at Rutgers Camden is part of a statewide network that provides comprehensive consulting services and educational opportunities to small business owners and potential owners throughout the state of New Jersey. Tonight, Bob will provide information regarding small business services offered, consultants that are available to small businesses, resource partners, and available counseling and training. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and turn it over to Donald Newman to share his information with us.
Okay, so get this up and going, and I will. Okay, so thank you, Stacy, and thank you, Mayor, for having me come and speak to you today. You know, I am a manager of the Small Business Advocacy Unit within the Business Action Center, and I am sure you all know what the Business Action Center is, but let me explain to you anyway. We've been around for a lot of years under different names, and they're organized in a different way. The current iteration of the Business Action Center is part of the Secretary of State's office. So we're a division within that unit. And the three primary pieces of the Business Action Center are on the screen. So what I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to go over a little bit about who we are, what the Business Action Center does. Then I'm going to go over a couple of sort of ideas for ways small businesses and medium-sized businesses can grow. And we'll talk a little bit about very high level of that. I'm going to be just scratching the surface. My goal is to entice you and to give you some ideas and something to think about, and then you can come back to us to talk in more detail. So we're broken up into three primary units. Office of Business Advocacy, they're the guys that do projects. That staff will take a business owner and we sometimes think of them as being the bigger businesses, but that's not true. Most of their clients are also small businesses, but they have a project. So I'm building a building to expand my business. So I may need DEP, help with the DEP, the Department of Environmental Protection. I may need help for the Department of Transportation to get road opening permits, or you know, I need to get through land use regulations. So there's a whole project that's involved, and they help businesses. I may need help finding the real estate, finding a place to locate my business. So our Office of Business Advocacy can help a business do that and work on those projects from you know, finding the real estate to your ribbon cutting. I operate the Small Business Advocacy Unit, and I will talk a little bit more about what we do, as well as the Office of Export Promotion. There's also a Planning Advocacy Unit within our office that helps the municipalities coordinate with the State Planning Commission. We have the Motion Picture and Television Commission falls under our jurisdiction. So, If there's any budding movie producers out there or television producers out there, you can reach out to us and we can put you in contact with the commission. The Israel Commission works through our office. So there's other factors that work within the Business Action Center, other units. But the primary units that are of interest to a business owner are these three units: the business advocacy, small business advocacy, and export promotion. So, we've been around for a long time in different iterations, and what we are the connectors. We connect you to the resources that are available. You're going to be hearing from Bob in a few minutes. They're one of our partners in terms of connecting businesses with the resources, specifically technical assistance. So, we are a financial supporter of the small business development centers, along with the SBA, to help you get those resources. We also work with the various access to places where you can access capital, whether it be CDFIs, or the SBA, or the Economic Development Authority. So we can help you identify the appropriate resource to find financial assistance. We can provide assistance when it comes to the COVID relief programs. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but also, what are the licensing and certifications obligations you have? What are your obligations as an employer? What are your obligations as a business owner? What kind of registration do you need with the Division of Revenue or Taxation? All of those kinds of questions that are things that we can help answer and help you navigate that regulatory process with the state. And we're not the regulators. We're not the enforcers. So if you have a tax question, we're not looking to collect your taxes. Taxation is, but we can help answer some of those questions because we are not sort of the enforcement arm of the government. We're here to support the business community and grow the businesses. So we can connect people to, as I mentioned before, the Economic Development Authority, which is a financing arm. They also do some other programs that we'll talk about: Treasury Department, Labor. Whatever agency, whether it be government or non-governmental, we try to keep contacts with and help you navigate that process and navigate who all these organizations are and what they can do for you. So a big part of what we've been doing now is working with the Governor's Innovation Team. The Governor's Innovation Team is a unit set up by this administration to help raise the level of technology use in the government, to make it easier for you to negotiate through the government bureaucracy and streamline some of the processes. And one of the things that came from that is a new website. If any of you have ever been on the old state business portal, that doesn't exist anymore. And now the business website for the state is business.nj.gov. And the innovation team, the Business Action Center, and the Economic Development Authority have been very involved in developing this website. So through this website, you can learn about how to plan, start, grow, and operate your business in the state of New Jersey. We have starter kits for certain industries, and we're expanding that all the time. But the real heart of the business.nj.gov is the live chat that we mentioned earlier. So what does that mean? Well, a lot of state government agencies now are adding chat features where you can ask a question, and it's really AI. It's artificial intelligence that's taking the question that you're asking and trying to find you in their database the answer for you. But you're actually talking to a computer. That's not true with our live chat. You're speaking to a real person, a professional who can answer questions about a whole variety of issues. You may get a response. There's some technology, so you may get a response that's one that's already been typed out, but you are communicating with a live person. We've also expanded it a little bit. It's been very successful. We were piloting this before the pandemic, but since the pandemic started, we really expanded it and let it grow because it's easy to work remotely using this chat feature. So we're able to be active on the chat, where a lot of agencies, if you call them, you pick up a phone and call them, you're going to get a busy signal because their people are not in the office working. They're trying, the calls are being transferred, and but the live chat where you're going to get an answer from someone. We also have expanded this. So besides the 62,000 conversations that we've had since March of last year, so for 1 year, we now have the opportunity, when you ask a question that perhaps is a question that is best suited for the Treasury Department because it involves confidential information, for example, or it involves technical information that is beyond our scope to answer. I can now take your chat conversation and send it to a representative at Treasury. So even though you originally contacted us, the answer you're going to get is from a representative at the Treasury Department. We also have the Economic Development Authority also on this live chat. So when we have a question that is best suited for somebody from the Economic Development Authority, we'll transfer you to the EDA, and the EDA will respond to you. And we are expanding that. I don't want to give away any secrets yet, but we're going to be expanding that to other agencies. So eventually what we hope to do is all the relevant agencies that you may interact with will all be connected through this live chat. So instead of you getting a phone call saying you have to call this person or this agency or that department to get your answers, we're going to simply say, hold on a minute, let's get somebody in that agency to talk to you. That's the ultimate goal of this live chat. And like I say, right now, we can answer a lot of questions, probably the vast majority of questions, but we also have the Treasury Department and the Economic Development Authority tied in. And 2 more are coming online very, very soon. So that's a great feature for your business, the business owner, to know that you can go to one place and get answers. Also on that business.nj.gov site is a section on COVID. So it's business.nj.gov/COVID, or if you go to the site, there's a button there for COVID. And that's where you can find out about the financial assistance programs that are available to people businesses that have been affected by COVID. Our partners over at the SBDC, and you'll be hearing from Bob in a moment, have put together a capital team, which is a team of counselors that can help businesses apply for some of the federal programs. That would be like the EIDL program or the PPP program, the Paycheck Protection Program. So forgive me, I lapse into acronyms sometimes instead of talking in real language. So the Paycheck Protection Program. Now, the state has had several COVID programs, financial programs, a couple of grant programs, a loan program, a rent assistance program. Right now, we don't have any active programs for financial assistance for COVID. However, we have one coming out that is state funded, and then we have others that are going to be coming out based on the resources that we're going to be receiving from the recently signed Recovery Act. I don't want to talk about any specifics yet because the regulations aren't completed yet, but they are coming. So how do you know what they are, and how do you know when to reach out to us and follow up with those programs? Well, the business.nj.gov/COVID is set up as a frequently asked questions section. Articles on that site are updated constantly. The one on the federal programs got updated today because there was some information about the PPP program that was released today. So that information was immediately updated on our website. And the only delay is that right now it's being translated into Spanish. So if you're more comfortable reading about it in Spanish, that translation will probably be up now. If not, it'll be up tomorrow morning. But that's how quickly we update that information. The other way you can do this to learn about upcoming programs is when the first time you go to business.nj.gov, you're going to get a pop-up on your screen to sign up for a newsletter. I highly recommend you sign up for that newsletter because we try to send it out every week if we have something to talk about, but we don't send it out if there's nothing new. But you will have the most up-to-date information about new programs coming in through that. Some of the other programs, we still have a PPE database to help you find PPE if you're still looking for that. One of the state programs that are, again, no longer available was a discounted program to help you get PPE. But there are other, there's a lot of information available to you on this business.nj.gov site. So I highly recommend that you visit it, take a look at it, and use the live chat when you have questions about it. One of our prides right now, the thing we're most prideful of, is our starting a new business checklist. For new businesses, it's excellent. Simple checklist that lists some of the things that you need to consider when you're starting a new business. I would also recommend that established businesses take a look at that, because it may give you some information about compliance moving forward. And the website is on here for that. That's on the Business Action Center website, not the business.nj.gov's website. And I'll let you guys, take this off the recording. But you can also sign up for the Business Action Center newsletter on this website as well, on the nj.gov/state/BAC. All right, so I'm going to very, very quickly go through a couple of things about export promotion and government procurement. So 95% of the world's consumers live outside the United States. So if you only concentrate on local business, you're going to be missing a big portion of the world's consumers. And small businesses can be exporters. If you sell over the internet, if you take web orders and you ship them out, if you get an order from Canada, you're an exporter. All right. So we can help you become an exporter by helping you develop a plan for how to be an exporter, giving you the basics, helping you navigate the regulatory process and government agencies. And I'm zipping through these slides because I know that you're going to be able to look at the recording, freeze them, and take a closer look at what I'm talking about. So I'm going to zip through these slides to save time. The big gun in our export promotion program is an NJ STEP program, which is the New Jersey Trade Expansion Program. That is a grant that we received from the Small Business Administration, where we're going to give cash awards to businesses that are trying to go to a trade mission or translate marketing materials for export. So you want to go to the Fancy Food Show in New York, you can go and we'll pay for the registration fee for you to do that. Or you want to go to Europe and attend a trade show there, we'll pay for the registration fees, not the transportation. We're not going to pay for your motel room, but we'll pay the registration fee. And this year, because of COVID, we are added virtual trade shows. So if you want to participate in a virtual trade show, we can help you do that as well and pay those registration fees. If you're interested in further information about export promotion, there's the website for applying for the STEP grant. And there's also my counterpart in the export promotion team, Bill Spear, his email address, and our 1-800-JERSEY-7, which is our call center. We have, by the way, that's also got Spanish language capabilities on it as well. But that's the old-fashioned way to get in touch with him. Use the live chat. Be modern technology. And just very quickly, a couple of companies that have participated in export promotion: Tomasello Wines, Kerox, which is a medical device company. And the other thing I want, and the other area I want businesses to try to consider is maybe government procurement. The biggest purchaser of goods and services in the world is the United States government. You add to that state government, county government, municipalities, school districts. You have a lot of government purchasing going on, and there are opportunities for small businesses to participate in those programs. I'm going to go very quickly through these slides, but you can always go back and read them. Part of the complexity of government procurement is that there's two competing issues here. The procurement agencies are trying to buy goods and services that are efficiently and ethically and professionally, and get them in a cost-effective and timely manner. However, we also use that purchasing power to support the business community, especially small businesses, minority and women-owned businesses, and veteran-owned businesses. So there is that competing goal in that procurement. So there are opportunities for small businesses to get involved in government procurement. And again, I'm not going to, I'm just touching the very highlights. I can do an hour and a half on government procurement alone, and I won't do that to you. So there are different laws that are associated with government procurement depending on who you're selling to. That's what this slide talks about. And there are also certain certifications you can obtain that can help you get contracts. So 23% of the federal contracts have gone to disadvantaged business enterprises and emerging small business enterprises and some of the other businesses that hold special certifications. And again, I'm not going to go through them in any detail because that will take too much time. But if you are interested in learning more about these programs, you can reach out to me. Some of these the state does offer, even though they're federal certifications, because the projects that, for example, the Department of Transportation is involved in are federally funded. So therefore, they do the certifications on behalf of the federal government for DBE and the ESBE, which is the Emerging Small Business Enterprise Program. Those can help you get federal contracts. And then there's state certifications. I actually used to manage this office, so I am very familiar with these programs and very willing to help any businesses that are seeking small business certification, which we call an SBE, minority or women-owned business certification, veteran-owned or service-disabled veteran-owned certification. 25% of purchase order dollars the state spends goes to a small business, and 3% are going to veteran-owned businesses. So there are opportunities for small businesses to get into government procurement. The primary purchaser for goods and services in the state is the Division of Purchase and Property. There are some others, and there are also, county municipalities, local government services. They sometimes buy off the state contract. So it's important to understand how they purchase their goods and services that they buy. Sometimes they're doing it directly. Sometimes they're going to the state government and buying off of our contracts. Again, I can talk to you all about this offline, so we can help you with accessing those kinds of services, those kinds of contracts rather. And then there are also cooperative purchasing groups, especially in the educational area, like the Educational Services Commissions that enter into contracts with the vendors, and then all of the different school districts that are members can purchase off of them. All right. A good place to start for all of this is NJ Start, which is the state e-procurement system. So you should go onto this site if you're interested in government procurement and set up an account. And that gives you, you can search current contracts, which gives you, and I'm not going to go through this whole slide, but being able to search current contracts is good for two reasons. One, you can find contracts that have an expiration date that's coming due, and that may be a potential bidding opportunities when those contracts do get renewed. The other reason why current contracts are important is because for a small business, the most common way you're going to get a government contract is as a subcontractor. So working with the prime contractor that has a current contract or is bidding on a contract with the state, and you then providing subcontracting work to that contractor, because those primes have that set aside that we talked about before. For example, the 25% set aside for small businesses, they have to give 25% of their subcontracting work to small businesses. So there are opportunities there. And again, if you're interested in this kind of an expansion of your business, you reach back out to me. You can also get some technical assistance assistance when it comes to procurement through the small business development centers that again, you're going to hear from Bob in a minute, and also the procurement technical assistance centers. And if you're interested in pursuing that technical assistance, again, I'm happy to make that connection for you. Again, that's what we do, is make connections for you. And then I'm not going to go through these slides, but these are some of the tips that you'll need to in order to qualify as a vendor. The only thing I'm going to mention about this slide is patience. Patience is important because government procurement is a highly regulated process. It usually takes about a year before a business gets their first contract. So it's important for you to be patient in and working through this process in order to get into this. This is not something you're going to do overnight. This is a major investment of time and resources into an expansion of your business. So I don't want to make people think that, I had a slow month, so next month I think I'll get a government contract. That's not a reasonable expectation. So patience is important. And then, like I said, there's some other information here. I already mentioned about primes and using the set aside obligations to be subcontractors. My contact information is on this slide. And I tend to be the procurement guy in our office. So you can always reach out to me or call 1-800-JERSEY-7. And that's really my presentation. So I gave you 2 examples of ways to expand your business. It's not the only way. Let's talk about what your plans are, what your goals are, what your needs are, and what you want. And then those are not always the same thing. Your needs are sometimes what I'm going to talk to you about as opposed to what you're asking me for, because I try to do a needs assessment. So sometimes your need is to go talk to Bob at the Business Action Center, as opposed to jumping into something that you're not quite ready for yet. I try to do that for you. So here's our contact information. Again, 1-800-JERSEY-7, the live chat on the business.nj.gov site. Also, the site itself has a lot of information, the COVID site, and my direct contact information for email. I can also be reached, and I don't believe it's on any of the slides. I can also be reached at 609-984-9834. Normally, I would just tell you the 800-JERSEY-7 number. Because of COVID, that's a little more difficult to get that call transferred to me. So you're better off calling me direct, 609-984-9834. That's really my presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing and turn it back over to Stacy and Bob.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate that. That was a lot of information and it was good. And you gave us just a nugget to get started and go and ask more questions and get more information. So we thank you for your time. Now we'll turn it over to Bob Palumbo. He'll start sharing his screen and provide some information on the Small Business Development Center.
Okay. All right, thank you. And thank you to Mayor and Stacy for inviting me to attend this evening. It's a good opportunity for us because it helps us to reach out to the communities that we serve. And a great presentation, Don, as always. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm the Regional Director of the Small Business Development Center, and we are at the Rutgers in Camden. Right now we're virtual, but we can be reached. I can be reached. The best is my my email, which is on the screen here. And I check it pretty much from 6 in the morning till 6 at night, because working virtually, as we all know, there are no set hours. We just keep going. Again, these are the counties that we serve: Burlington, Camden, Gloucester, and Salem. And we are no fee, just as Don with the New Jersey Business Action Center is no fee. We don't charge any fees. Occasionally, some of our classes, there may be a fee, but for consulting, there are no fees. And I like to say that it's actually prepaid, because you paid for this through your tax dollars. So as the Small Business Development Center, we receive funding from the SBA, which are federal monies. And we also receive funding from the state of New Jersey through Don's organization, the New Jersey Business Action Center. And there are also other grants that we will receive from, depending on the year. Right now, we've received a CARES Act grant, which has enabled us to reach out even further to help clients with the PPP and the EIDL loans, and to secure additional consultants to help with that. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. What do we do? Well, we do general counsel. We help business planning, financial projections, loan preparation, lender referrals, business registration, government certifications, and procurement. I mean, there's always some overlap between the different resources that we have, but we don't know everything, and so there are times when we may have to reach out to specialists, or we may have to reach out to Don, or we may have to find out someone starting a business, what type of licensing do they have to have. Many times we have the answers, but sometimes we're not sure. We just want to double check, so we'll give Don a call, because we want to make sure that we're giving the right information to clients. So general counsel is, if you're just thinking about starting a business, you're not sure what you want to do, you're not focused, we're a good place to start. We'll sit down with you, and as Don mentioned, you may have questions, or you may be looking for information, and it's probably maybe not the most important thing you need to know. I had a client that called and they said, I want to register my business. And I said, okay, what kind of business? Well, I'm not sure. Well, then that's not where you start. We need to get you focused on what it is that you want to do. So if you're just starting out as an entrepreneur, we'll sit down, we'll talk about what you want to do, we'll talk about financing, we'll talk about your background, and see if this is the right fit for you. See where you are at what stage you are in the development of your business. Business planning and financial projections. Our center at Rutgers, Canada, we're very strong in business planning and financial projections. Our center was started, I believe it was around 1985, 1986. And so we've been around for a long time. I haven't been with them that long. I've been with them for the past 18 years. I was a consultant for them up until 7 years ago, and I became the regional director. But when we sit down to talk about business planning and financial projections, we are very hands-on. We have a good accounting base, good financial consultants on staff, so that when we're looking at financial projections and we're looking at someone who wants to borrow money to start the business, we want to make sure that you're borrowing the right amount. Because 80%, and this is the bad news, like 80% of businesses fail the first year. And what we found is the number one reason is they just don't have enough money to start the business. And so if we sit down and we do financial projections and we determine, well, based on what your startup costs are going to be, based on what your operating costs are going to be before the business can sustain itself. And remember, not only has to sustain itself, it has to sustain you. You have to pay your bills as much as the business has to pay their bills. So, if we come up with a number and we say, okay, we need $50,000, which will include our startup costs and about 4 months of funding until the business is profitable, and we can only raise $25,000, we don't start. You don't start the business, because I guarantee you will fail. Now, 80% of small business development center clients succeed, because, and then they'll fail for other things besides not having enough cash. But we want to make sure you get off on the right foot. So, we will help you with that. Now, we're not going to write your business plan for you. We'll help guide you, because remember, this is your plan. This is your business that you're going to run, and no two businesses are exactly the same unless you're McDonald's. And then sometimes that's not the case, depending on who the manager is. So we want to make sure that you're going to be successful. And a key to that is making sure that your projections are good. So don't come in to see us and sit down and say, well, I'm going to do $10,000 a month, because we're going to say, how are you going to get that $10,000? How many units are you going to sell? How many hours are you going to be able to bill out? What's your pricing going to be? Who are your customers? Right? What are the demographics? We will go through all that with you. And I'll sit with a client, and sometimes I'm talking to them and red flags are going up because I know, okay, we have an issue here, we have an issue there. So, you know, I would rather say we're not ready than let you put your life savings into a business that may fail, and you know, for various reasons. So we do challenge quite a bit. And again, we're a free service. You know, the advantage to using us, and I'm not saying not to use outside consultants, but you've paid for us through your taxes, but you're not paying us directly. So we can kind of cross that line that maybe other consultants cannot, because they want to remain your consultant because they want to get paid. So they may not tell you some of the hard facts that we would tell. So just keep that in mind when you're starting your business. We work with several lenders in the area in South Jersey. You know, we have traditional bankers that we work with. We work with some micro lenders, so we can refer you to them if you have a banker that you're working with that you're comfortable with. We could also work with them. You know, we can help you with the loan preparation. You know, whether it's the application. You know, a lot of times with your application, you have to provide your own personal balance sheet, which shows these are my assets, these are my liabilities. They're going to ask for tax returns, and they're going to look for a good credit score. And these are questions that we ask when you sit down. We want to know that you're prepared to go. We also do business registration. We don't charge a fee for that. I'm always disappointed when someone comes in. This is nothing against Zoom, legal Zoom, but when somebody comes in and said, well, I just registered my business and I paid $500. We don't charge a fee for that. And we will have you meet with a CPA to do that. But remember that, you know, registering your business doesn't mean you're in business. So, you know, you may come in to do that, but we may say, you know what, we're 3 months away from even having to do that. Let's start working on your business plan. Let's look at your financials. Let's get you in front of the bank. As a matter of fact, we don't wait until the business plan is completely done before we'll send you to meet with a lender, because we want to find out, you know, are you going to have any issues getting a loan? Do you need additional collateral? You know, does it make sense to try and bring in a partner? So we'll go through that process with you. And of course, we also help with government certifications and procurement. And in my previous life, Don is exactly spot on when he talks about, you know, this, when you're doing government procurement, bidding on contracts, it's almost a separate business, to be honest with you. I mean, you have to be dedicated to that. You have to almost have a separate team dedicated to going after these contracts. And I can attest to that. And I see it with my clients. Like I said, I saw even with myself when I was working with a firm, we were going after contracts. And I've seen it with very large businesses too. I worked for a $500 million company one time that wanted to get military contracts, but they couldn't because they just, you know, they couldn't put that type of a task team together with the cost that it would take for them to go after that type of business. So, but we do have specialists on staff. We have some state specialists also that can help with that, you know, as well as Don can help. We have done a lot with the SBA disaster loan, the EIDL and PPP assistance. I mentioned before, we received some additional funding through the CARES Act. So we have 2 consultants on staff that have been doing almost nothing except for helping clients get their PPP assistance process, answer questions, a lot of questions, you know, on the forgiveness of the loans, the changes, the SBA, and I'm sure Don can kind of agree with it. The SBA, they send out, we get emails daily from the SBA with either changes or adjustments or new programs that are coming out. So we have to stay on top of that. And we stay on top of it, not only from the local level, but also from our state level. You know, I think I have another slide, but there's 12 centers in New Jersey covering all the counties, and there's around 1,000 SBDCs in the nation covering all the United States. So there's a lot of information that has to go out. I did see an email came out last week about one of the rules, new rules with the SBA, and it said interim, what to say, interim final rule. Now, I didn't know there was such a thing as an interim final rule, but that's, I mean, that's how I shouldn't say complicated, but you know, trying to get this information out to clients and keep them up to date it's been a full-time job since the shutdown, since this time last year. You know, one of the things we're trying to do is help clients pivot during these extreme times. And just as a small business, even the SBDC, we had to pivot. I mean, we had talked about going virtual for 2 years prior to the shutdown. We just couldn't get our act together. And after the shutdown, we were up and running in 5 days because we had to. You know, we had to keep going. One of the first phone calls that I received was from a client. This is 2 weeks after the shutdown, and they said that they cannot pay their rent or their mortgage. So was heartbreaking. And that's what we dealt with, particularly through the summer. You know, trying to get clients. This is before the money went out, and they started getting the PPP loans and their disaster relief loans. So it was very heartbreaking, particularly in the beginning. We're starting to come out of this now. We're starting to see businesses starting to come back. So there is light at the end of the tunnel, and not a train. So, we also help with exporting, but we would lean on Don for a lot of that. We have in-house marketing and social media support, e-commerce, and of course we have training and webinars. And with the fact that we can do things virtually now, we have a lot of training and a lot of webinars going around. So there's a little bit of competition right now on webinars. So we're sorting through that. We want to get the most pertinent webinars out there, the things that are really going to help clients grow their business and start their business. So we're always revamping and looking at the offerings that we have. And as Don said, this is just an overview. You know, we could easily do 4 hours on this, but we're going to just kind of condense it down. We just want to make you aware of what's available, so that when you're ready to make that move, you can do that and do that comfortably. On staff, we have 10 consultants on staff. Other than me, they are all part-time consultants, independent consultants, and they're either retired or they have their own consulting practice now. And their specialties include retail, hospitality, food service, trade services, government procurement, general assistance, business planning, financial projections. Let me go back to that again. But they are all seasoned professionals. They're not all as old as me, but they have, many of them have had their own businesses. The consultant that does the registration has his own CPA practice. So, it's been a little bit difficult because we like to do that in person. So we're a little bit behind on getting that done, but he's opening up now so we can have clients go in now and get their registrations completed. Food service and hospitality, that's a big issue right now. So we have we have two consultants that have actual restaurant experience, and then with the trade services, I've had experience with that, and government procurement, we do have a local specialist and a state specialist and Don. So there's no reason not to look into that. It can be very lucrative. As I said, you know, I worked for a business that we did a lot of government. We did actually a lot of work with the Department of Transportation, and we were subcontractors. We were never primes. You know, we did a lot of work on bridges, but we didn't build bridges. We videotaped bridges. We did documentaries. So we were a subcontractor to the engineers and or to the contractor that was doing the work. And it turned out once we got our act together, we did very well in that area. Our resource partners, New Jersey Small Business Administration, as I mentioned, that's where we get a lot of our funding from. The New Jersey Business Action Center, Don's group, New Jersey Economic Development, and in your area, we work with the Burlington County Bridge Commission. I know some of the names and faces have changed with the Bridge Commission, but we have done our introductions there to make sure that that they know that, you know, who we are. And we have over the years received many referrals from the Bridge Commission, and we appreciate that. We do have a government procurement event coming up April 15th. And if my website is on here, and if you go to our website, you'll be able to see the registration there. And then also get on our newsletter link or follow us on Facebook, and that's where we post a lot of our events that we have coming up. And we have also a Meet the Lenders event coming up, where we're going to bring in some of our lenders to speak about what their requirements are. And TD Bank, M&T Bank, they will be there. We have several banks that we work with, but you know, you're a little bit limited in how many speakers you can have. And we have micro lenders, economic development will be there, and of course the Burlington Bridge Commission is always welcome to attend. You know, one thing for those that are looking to get a loan, I don't believe I have a slide for this, but I just wanted to give you an overview of what the banks are looking for. You know, I mean, there are, you know, we say there are no grants because it is very difficult to get grants, especially for startups. But the general rule of thumb is they want to see that you're going to put 20–25% of your own funds into the business. They're going to look for the balance of the loan. So if you're going for a $100,000 loan, they're going to look to see that you're putting $25,000 into the business. The other $75,000, they want to see collateral for that $75,000, whether it's your home or commercial assets or something of value that the bank can put their name on. That is a hard and fast rule. They're going to want to see your personal financial statements. They're going to want to see your tax returns, and they're going to look for a credit score of at least 650. So that's just kind of an overview. And I know there are some exceptions to these things, and there are some I would say collaborations that can be done between the EBA and maybe the bank, or maybe a micro lender and a bank. But those are few and far between. But the best place to start is to come in for a consultation, and we can help sort that out for you. And we're very easy to do business with. You can just visit our website, and right on the home page, there's a blue box that says counseling request. You click on that link, you submit your information, and we'll get back to you usually within 24 hours, but I like to say 48 to give us a break just in case, because we are virtual right now. And we can usually get you in from one to 2 weeks. Now, if you're a new business, if you're a new entrepreneur and you're still getting focused, I also do twice a month, I do what we call starting a business Q&A session. And I'll spend about 2.5 hours talking about some of the things I've talked about here, but going into a lot more detail regarding these are the things you need to understand about licensing. These are the things you need to understand about insurance, if you're going to have employees, if you're going to have subcontractors, if you're going to look for a loan, this is what you need to know. We'll go into more detail about the business plan, the financial projections. And I also go through a series, which is a reflection of, is this something for you? And it's just a series of self-reflecting questions to ask yourself that we go through. And that's about 2.5 hours that we spend doing that. And we get pretty good grades on that because we do cover a lot of detail. It's not intended to scare people. We want people to get into business, but it's really to lay out and help people understand it's not just a matter of registering your business. These are the things you need to do. These are the things you need to know to be successful, because we want you to be successful. Okay? And this is our copy. This is just a screenshot of our site, and you can see the blue box, and that's all you have to do. Is click on that. We'll get back to you. We'll have a short discussion. Either myself or one of my assistants will speak with you to find out what it is that you're looking for, and then from there we can determine who's the best. Whether you should go to training, or we can bring you right in for counseling, and who is best to meet with you. Is it one of our CPAs? Is it someone in hospitality? We have a social media specialist. You can meet with that person first, and we also work as a team. So there was a time when you went to the SBDC and you met with a consultant, and I was basically your consultant for life. We don't run our center that way. You come in, we find out, okay, where do you need to start? So you may start with Steve. And Steve will help you out and give you some suggestion or some advice on what you want to do, and then we may send you to Akansha. Akansha was very, very good with business planning, and she can help you with your written plan. She's not going to write it, but she'll help guide you through it. And now you're ready. Now you want to start thinking about financing, and we'll have you meet with. And all this is virtual too. At this time, we can have you meet with Athul. Athul is brilliant. Athul is the best financial projection person I've had on staff ever. And he can sit down with you and look at pricing. He can do industry research to find out what your competitors are doing. So there's a lot of information that we can provide to help you build the best plan possible. And these are some of our other regional offices that we have. So if you're looking at this recording and you're in one of these areas, just so you know that you can get help anywhere. And you can also always email me and I can get you to the right place also. That's it.
Great. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Don. We appreciate your time. I want to just share with you, after Bob stops sharing his screen, I'll share mine and share with you just contact information. I want to thank you for joining. For next steps, you would just reach out to either Bob or Don with any questions that you might have. Oops, sorry. Okay. Their contact information is here on this screen. It will be shared with everyone. Again, thank you for all of that information. One of the things that I thought was really that I'd like some of the business owners to take away is that there is help available to you. All you have to do is ask, pick up the phone, dial the New Jersey help line to have a live chat, or schedule for a counseling session with someone on Bob's team. So thank you so very much for your time. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful evening. If anyone has any questions, please send them to me directly. I will share them with Bob or Don, or you can reach out to them directly. This recording will be posted on our website. Thank you, Mayor Vesey. As always, thank you everyone for joining. Good night.
Night.